Noam Krasniansky, welcome to Jewish Money Matters. Such a pleasure to have you on the show.
It is a pleasure. It's a pleasure to see you in the show, and I've seen you, followed you, and very interesting show, I must say. Very,
Thank
very.
you. Well, thank you. I was thinking before we got on, I don't know if I'm caffeinated enough for the conversation that's about to hit me. You are the founder of Komposite Blockchain, and you're going to tell us soon what you're doing there. And you're here to, Noam, help us understand the foundational, I guess, principles of blockchain and something that you say it's no longer optional, it's a necessity. And to be very frank with you, I was kind of hoping there for a while that it was optional, but I do agree with you. It's here to stay. So I'm all ears. I welcome your insights. And hey, who knows? By the end of this conversation, maybe I'll be ready to get onto the blockchain. I'm sure you'll convince me. But before we get into all that good stuff, Noam, I want to backtrack a little bit because I want the audience to get to know a little bit about you and also kind of connect the dots to Noam today. And frankly, I'm very curious because I see in your LinkedIn profile that you're a very seasoned entrepreneur, capital E entrepreneur. It's almost like it was in your mother's milk or something. So tell us about the things that you've started and the companies you've managed and how, I want to understand that journey that led you to where you are today.
That's a really good question, actually. Okay, so let's start from zero because most people don't know who I am. I am Jewish. I was born in England. My parents are from Chile, like all Jewish people. They've lived all over the world.
Yeah.
My parents are from Poland and Russia. Well, today, the Ukraine, Odessa. So I'm an English, South American, Polish Jew. Right?
Oh my God, what a mix.
And my parents traveled all over the world. In the 70s, their work took them from Spain to Costa Rica to Chile to New Zealand. And at that time, like today, you take care of your kids and you make sure they don't go alone, they don't go on the street, and then they don't go, you're always worried about your kids. They left us alone, right? In the 70s, 80s, it was like that. And I had an entrepreneurial spirit from the very beginning. My first enterprise that I remember was selling orange juice in Costa Rica, I think. I had a neighbor, they gave me a huge bag of oranges. And so I told I had a nanny at the time. I said, Nuria, I need you to get me glasses. I need this, I need the other. And she's, what's going on? I was probably 8 years old, but I knew exactly what I needed to do. And we were near the street. So I put the box in the streets. I already had done the oranges. I have the glasses at glasses. Not a good idea. Okay. And then I will put the orange juice and then I'll see, oh my God, I need to put, and I put a little bit more water, to make it last longer. Oh. Anyway, I will sell it, and they will pay you with a coin called colones, right? And they will pay me and up the cars. Oh my God, you're amazing. Where are your parents? No. You want to buy? Okay. And so they will start talking to me that they want the children to do their stuff, and all I wanted was their money, right? I sold out quicker than you can expect, and my friend wouldn't give me any more oranges, so that was the end of that business. It evolved. I went to boarding school in England. A roommate that used to come up. Well, I was a boarding school and then I didn't like it. So I got room on board in town, and I had this English sailor, small guy, spoke like look this. He was from Liverpool, and he will come and open the door and throw a wad of cash on the table. He went everywhere and said, today was shoot. That means it was right shit. And he'll sit down and smoke a cigarette and say, you want to count the money? Count the money. And that day was like 1,700 pounds. It's 1989, 1990.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of money. Let's say it's like maybe $10,000 today. So, and the next day will be 1,800. Another one was 700.
Is this guy selling drugs or what?
He looked like it, right? It was shit. So, and then he was selling a product, one of the first product that got on TV, on infomercial when the TV got deregulated. It was called DD7. It was a stain remover. If somebody had a stain here on the shirt, when they had a pen, and the thing it looked like a toothpaste. You put it on there, you cleaned it up. It was like a magic show, right? So I said, well, if this guy is doing shit, I want to swim in this, right? So he taught me that demonstration. He said, you're not going to do well. And I said, why is that? Because you have an accent. I had an accent.
Oh, come on.
It's okay. Don't worry. So I learned my pitch. I was at school, I remember. And then when we had break, we went to, I don't know, I think went to no Liverpool, but Blackpool. I think it was Blackpool. It's in the north of England, a resort town. And we sold, and I sold. And oh no, the first day was in a flea market. In England, markets have been around for hundreds of years. Like they get chartered by the king on the 1600s. So the town square or any town is cobblestone, and all the department stores are all around. And one town will have it on Tuesday, another town will have it on Wednesday, different days. So you will go there like at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and set up a market stand. It will sell. So I started selling. And the first demonstration, I remember I copied what he said, like, hold your money, hold your money, hold your money, hold your money, hold. You used to tell people to hold their money before you close so that it grew expectation. And then boom, you ask for the money, everybody bought. And then everybody started buying from me. And he was like, and I just copied the guy. And then he says, you know why you're doing so well? Why is that? Because you have an accent. So anyway, so that was my birth into business, because I was at school. I was going to go to Oxford or Cambridge or whatever. And I started making tons of money. It looked like drug money, but it was for these tubes of DD7 that you sold for £10 or something. So imagine selling 1,700 pounds means you sold a lot of tubes, right? Like 180 of them. So from there, I think I got independent and I went into malls, and I learned how to go into malls and do that.
But you were buying the DD7 from this guy.
Well, originally I was working for him, I guess. And then I wanted to buy directly from the distributor or the factory. And I did. And then I started going into shopping malls. And that way is how I started my business, where I will go to a shopping mall for a week and sell here and sell there, all over the place. I mean, it was crazy. And then the problem that I had is I had no expansion. So I said, I either go to Ireland to sell this, because I went to Scotland, or maybe I go to a bigger place. And I ended up in America. 300 million people. I said,
it's a pretty big one.
Yeah. So I went to, and I remember I was in Scotland selling on Christmas, and I slipped on the ice outside. I fell on my butt, and I said, that's it. I don't want any more cold. I don't want rain. I don't want, they have like 20 different words for rain. Horrible. I'm out of here. Right. So I ended up in New York. Amazing. Oh, man, this is great. This is like in the movies. And 2 days later, it starts snowing. It doesn't stop until there's 3 feet. And I said, I'm out of here. So I ended up.
Sorry. Did you even finish your degree? Or
no, I didn't finish school.
You left.
It's like, listen, I come from, Jewish background, Latin background, South America. You have to finish school.
I was going to say, were your parents okay?
You have to have a PhD. You have to have this.
Right.
I didn't, and I didn't care, right? I didn't care because I was making more money than most people, with degrees were, So, but that's what happens sometimes. Entrepreneurs and the most, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be brutal. I don't think school teaches you what you need to learn for business.
I agree.
I think that the people that end up school end up more stupid than when they got in. I'm sorry, blunt, but there's a lot of people who will disagree with me. But at the end is what can you produce? How good you are at? Do you understand what you're doing? And can you do it? And all those answers are no. When people come out of university, they basically need to learn their job, right? They don't really. So from there, I went to America. And then I think a friend of mine gave me money for making a mold. I made a mold. I didn't know how to do it. I was going to sell this carpet cleaner. I was into infomercial products, right? And then I ended up in Los Angeles, and everybody was speaking Spanish. I said, we're in America. This is like being Latin America. And everybody was speaking Spanish. I said, we have an expression in South America. It says, I'm going to make the America. It means I'm going to get rich, right? So I ended up making this product. It was a carpet cleaner, right? And I remember I was living in Hollywood. I used to call it Hollywood and Tijuana, right? I mixed it up, and I used to mix my cleaners. I used to print with a DOS printer, the label, put it there. I had my machines I used to make. I used to go to the flea market, used to sell in Spanish. I started doing well, and then it grew. And then I did an infomercial, and then it grew. We're doing great. And then September 11th hit, and everything went to, I think I can say it all went to shit, right? They were giving you airtime for one quarter of the price, but you couldn't sell anything. Nobody was buying anything. And so I went bankrupt. And that was the first disappointment as a businessman. I never thought I will not make it, right? You always, when you're young and you're full of spirit and anything is possible. And that was the first big crush for me. And most people will say to me, they will say, but don't worry, you did it once, you could do it again. I mean, I had to become rich, but I was making it, right? It was working. And I said, I don't care about I can make it again. I need the money. I want the money. Anyway, I started again from zero. I remember people that I used to sell, big distributors. I asked them if they would let me go sell in their shows. We did like consumer shows, things like a houseware show or boat show, things like that you see in your cities. And I started again. And there was one point that came. I remember 2008, I think. It was a steady business. It wasn't nothing great.
What were you selling then?
I was selling, I had my carpet cleaner, which became better and bigger. And then I started selling microfibers. Remember the mops on microfibers when people used to do demonstrations? I think I made a deal with a factory. They gave me like 2 containers for nothing. I made tons of money. And then the chamois came out. Remember chamois?
I read something about this chamois and you taking down the German chamois. So tell us about this.
Okay, so you've done your research. So this guy, the chamois have been around for decades, right? It's not a new product, but this guy, the chamois guy learned the demo and he sold it and he did this commercial. Are you following me, camera guy? Remember that commercial? Fantastic. And they were selling incredible numbers, right? They were selling like at Costco. They sold on TV for $29.99. At Costco, it was $39.99 for 2 packages. And nobody could sell them to you. I learned how to do it. To do the pitch, and we were selling in a place for $20, like $5,000. That's unheard of, right? It was crazy. And then I said, you know what? I need to make this product. So all Germans buy this product. All our German factories were all completely booked. Everybody was buying it. So that's when I went to China and they sent me a product that was so bad. It was horrible. So I told my wife, you know what? I'm going to have to go to China. I need to fix this product because this is the only place that I can get it. I mean, everybody was asking for them. So my wife said, no, just buy it. I said, no, I cannot give them a crappy product. So I went to China. I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing about China. And I just did it. And that's another thing an entrepreneur can do is they take decisions and they go through the fear of the unknown. You know what I mean? You cross that path and there's no going back. But you have nothing to lose. Otherwise, you're just a loser, right? You're one guy inside a box and you're going to be on the box for the rest of your life. So I crossed that barrier, went to China, and I was there for 10. This factory, I brought the ones that were the German ones, and I knew how they work. So I started working with them. They actually had huge machines, right? Huge machinery making this. They're big mills. And the guy, actually, that's one good thing about sometimes the Chinese, they wanna might not be able to innovate, but they wanna be able to compete. So the guy will set up the machine, which cost a lot of money, and will produce some cloth. And we did it again. No, for 9 days we were tired. Yes, that's a little bit better. And on the 9th day, the 10th day, it was almost perfect. I said, you almost got it. Just change this. And then the next one that came out was perfect. It was perfect. So I said, okay, make a container of this. This is how you do it. These are the specifications. And then I went back home. It was 10 days away from home. I've never done that before. And we got the first container within a day it was sold. I mean, I sold it, boom. And then I said, okay, we need to go to shows, but no regular shows. We need to go to trade shows. So I started going to trade shows. And I went to this houseware show in Chicago.
So you created the competitor to the German chamois, basically.
Yeah, 100%. So actually other people will copy them and put their name. I actually made the product to work and I created a competitor. Right. And I went to this trade show where it was the trade and I was demonstrating it, showing the thing, and people will give me cards. I will have like stacks of cards like this. And the problem is I've never been in retail, so I didn't know who was who. So I could have Dollar General, or I could have Dollar Tree, or I could have, I knew who Walmart was, but I could have like stores that I never heard of that they have 300 stores on that huge chain. So I remember being in the hotel room and I'm looking at all these cards and I said, what do I do? Because one card could be from a guy that had a smoke shop, I don't know, in New Orleans, and the other one could be, and that was when I realized that data analysis in business and as an entrepreneur is really important, being able to judge data that looks similar and find out what is the senior data. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I went back home, I remember, and I got a call. This is a true story. Well, obviously a true story. And I got a call and it was from Dollar Tree. I didn't know who Dollar Tree was. I says, hi. Oh, the buyer was there and we'd like to get some samples and stuff. Okay, great. Yes. But we don't want the one like large ones. We want them smaller and we want them in a clip strip. We want them folded and we want it in a clip strip because we're selling clip strips. I didn't know what she was talking about. I said, okay, no problem. So maybe I can cut them in half, fold them. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. So we need 3 boxes with 4 clip strips each. I said, no problem. You'll have it next week. I didn't know how to do that. But anyway, I investigated. I went to Uline. I found the clip strips. And that's what an entrepreneur does. An entrepreneur Says yes when
Yes,
it's a need, and it's an important need for someone important, and then figures it out because it
exactly.
doesn't matter. That's like 90% of the sale. So then I
100%.
remember we made some artwork with the chamois X, and then we did it in color. That alone cost $1.50 each of them. Didn't matter. We cut the chamois in half. We bought the clip strip. We bought the boxes. We put them there. We shipped them. You got yes. Okay, we're gonna do a test. Okay. Anyway, a week later, she calls. I get a call and says, "So we did our test. Oh, that's great. And we sold them out in less than a week." And then I said, "Oh, I'm sorry," because you have to understand at the time you would sell at $5,000 anywhere, right?
Yeah.
That means like 250 people will buy it. I just sold 48 to different stores. If she took a week to sell, that was for me. It was complete crap. Right?
Right.
However, she says, no, you don't understand. Yeah, I'm sorry we wasted your time. It was no, you don't understand. Normally, when we buy a product, if we sell 3 or 4 of an item a month, is good. If we sell 2 or a week or something, like I don't remember.
Right.
Like it was something ridiculous, and they have sold them in 3 days, right? In each of the different places. And I said, "Oh, this means this is a very good product." Yes, I know. So I'm gonna send you some orders. I said, "Okay, great." All right. She asked me all the data. We sent us the data, okay, and then we agreed the price is gonna be 50 cents because they sell for $1. And remember, I was breaking a cardinal rule on pitching, which is you don't sell for cheaper than the general market, right? It was $20-$30, right? But everybody was already occupying that segment, and I didn't know very much. And if it wasn't me, somebody else was going to do it. So I said, I'm going to do it, right?
And you had other customers at that segment too, right?
I had people buying, but I was in the fair business. Remember that. So people that would sell in exhibitions and shows. I didn't have a retail package.
Okay.
Do you understand? Because
Okay.
that's how you sell them by demonstration. So we created this retail package. So then I don't know, it was 2 days later. I come to it was like a warehouse with an office. I open the door and I see a whole bunch of faxes. Remember the fax machine?
Yeah, I do.
Right? I took up the papers and I look at it and I look at them and I start screaming. My wife comes in and says, "What's going on?" I couldn't talk. I show her. And we have received like $300,000 worth of orders. I mean, it was crazy. 300,000 worth of orders, which means it's 600,000 chamois, right? It's like, so I show, and I say, "It's incredible."
That's a lot of chamois that they're going to sell for
That's a lot of chamois.
$1.
So then, like a few minutes later, I hear a call. I said, "Do you get my orders?" Yes, I did. I have all your orders. So you want them for in 3 months? You want that? So you want $300,000 worth of chamois? And he says, there was a silence. He says, "No, there's more." There is. So I turn around, I walk to the fax machine and I open the cartridge that had the paper and it had run out of paper. So I said, "Oh, I ran out of paper. Okay. Come, I'll call you back when you get all the orders." So I take a ream of paper, you know how you open it, you put the ream, I break it, I put it on there, and the fax machine starts spitting out papers for the next 10 minutes, papers everywhere, started falling, papers. And then when it finally stopped, I grabbed all this and we looked at this and we had received an order for 1.2 or $1.3 million. That was my first $1 million order. It was absolutely, the feeling is it's an incredible feeling. You know, it's like when you win big, right? An amazing feeling. Get a call. And he says, "Okay, so how much?" So yeah, you gave me a few orders, right? Throughout the year till December, $1.3 million. That's right. Can you do it? She asked. And there wasn't even a millisecond. I said, "Absolutely." Right? Now, what you have to understand, I had a warehouse that was 1,000 square feet. I had an office. I had gone to China to this factory to do this thing, right? And I did it. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. They have ordered like 2.4 million chamois. And they were supposed to be done like this. And they were supposed to ship. They had 9 different distributions. I didn't know. I said yes. And that's all that matters. As an entrepreneur, you have to take risks, and you have to be able to, you even if you cannot do it, say yes. And then figure it out. If
it's not that factory, you'll find another factory.
Like, for example, I bought a church. This sounds going to come crazy to you, but
a church?
I bought a historical church in St. Pete. I live in near Tampa area because it's gorgeous, right? It's beautiful. It's 14,000 square feet, and we want to do something on it. And I was with a meeting with the board of preservation. And they say, and I think they said, you don't know what you're doing. And they started to berate me, saying that I didn't know what I was doing, that I was in the industry, I'm not professional, this and the other. But the thing is, those people that were there come from professions that are professionals, that go to university and they expect to do certain things. What they don't understand, and what most people don't understand that are not entrepreneurs, is that an entrepreneur can make anything happen.
Yeah.
They don't need to know and have studied the subject for years in order to do any business. You only need to have what we say in Spanish, the ganas, right? You have to have the want to do it, and then you have to figure it out. And then you contra professionals. See, after all, we're the ones that put money, intelligence, and attention into a thing. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So then from the chamois, and I have one here. No, I don't have it here. And from the chamois, I realized we became a one customer company. Poultry, we found out, had 3,000 stores, and they sold crop tons of chamois. And the next year, they bought it again, and they sold a lot. We were in the millions of dollars now. And then we were really worried that, oh my God, we cannot be a one company.
Right, it's a big risk.
It will completely destroy us. Creating products, and we started doing all kinds of things. We went absolutely bananas. One of the products that we created, for example, was the next one that we did. I don't know if you can see that.
Washable what?
Called the washable bamboo paper towels. Bambooee. That's our Bambooee. That's the stuff that I'll tell you in a little. We were in Shark Tank with. So we were desperately doing all kinds, and we did an infomercial product that did very well. And then the big company said, if you don't give it to us, we will copy you. And it's true. And I gave it to them, and they destroyed it, whatever. But I had many different ones, right? Boom, 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 boom. And then the next thing that we did is we went and we created, because I knew about chamois, created washable paper towels. It's so strange that it's not focusing. There you go.
There you go.
You see it there?
Right.
It's Bambooee, right?
Because for the people who don't know what the chamois is, it's like a towel thingy, no?
That's correct.
Right.
Thank God that I went out of freeze. It is, yeah. So these are towels. These are washable bamboo paper towels, which was the next thing that we did, because my wife wrote an article in I think The Economist, saying that only 7 or 8% of the Brazilian rainforest is left. So she decided at that point, we're not going to use any more paper towels. You're going to put something out. And it took me about a year and a half, 2 years to figure it out. And we found out that bamboo is the best eco-friendly fiber, because the growth rate is very big. It's every year. It's not like cutting trees, and it has all kinds of amazing benefits. It sequesters more carbon from the air, etc., etc. And I created these paper towels. Like one roll can replace about 286 rolls of regular paper towels. That's like 20.
Bye-bye bounty.
Exactly. And these are better, they're stronger. We cannot say they're antibacterial, antiviral, because bamboo is like that, because, we get in trouble. But they are really, if somebody wants to use less paper towels, it's a really great option. And then we were doing this product in Whole Foods. We got into Whole Foods, and somebody said, you should be on Shark Tank. And you have to understand, entrepreneurs have an addictive personality.
I can see that now.
Yes. So I am a TV addict. That's my addiction. I don't drink, I don't smoke, but you put me in front of a TV and I might not stop for 24 hours. So in my house, we don't have any TV. So I don't see TV programs. But people were saying you should be in the Shark Tank. I said, why would I want to be in a tank full of sharks? This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And so I asked, after the third time, I said, what is this? Oh, it's a show where big successful people go on the front and you present to them and they invest and blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever, right? At that point, it wasn't an interest. But I remember that I went to the natural food show it's the biggest show in Anaheim. Right? All the different natural things. And we walked past a booth that said, I've seen on Shark Tank. So my wife asked them, they have been on Shark Tank, and she got all the information and we applied. Actually, you had to go and do an audition and stuff, and they had the auditions. So I said, you know what? Let's just wing it. I put some boxes behind me that said Bambooee. We put it out there. We did one shot, just one thing. We talked, blah, 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 blah. And we sent. That was our audition, right? About a month later, and then nobody answered, so we started emailing. That's what you do as an entrepreneur. You're persistent. You're persistent until they tell you either go away or they say yes. There's two options, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And then like a month later, somebody calls. I think we're going into a store and says, hi there, this is blah, blah, one of the producers from Shark Tank. And my wife and I.
Shark Tank is.
And we were, and then they said, well, you have been selected. Over 50,000 people applied. You're one of the 150 50, I think, at the time. But that this doesn't mean you're going to air. You have to understand that. So you have to go to the next level. So we went through each step, and each step that you did, they gave us a producer team. Each step that you did, we'll say it doesn't mean you're going to air. Even after you filmed, they say there's no guarantee that you're going to air. Because it has to be good TV, right? So now you can write, anybody that's watching this, you write Bambooee with 2 E's at the end and watch the episode. It's a great episode, right? Kevin said that I was the best salesman he's seen up to that point, right? That was a few years back. So we did the segment. Now remember, we're doing chamois. We're trying other things.
Oh, so you haven't sold chamois. You still are running it.
Yeah, of course. The company's still running. This is just
financing this one.
This is a project, right? Hasn't made very much money. I don't know, like 100 and something, not even $200,000. We're selling it. We are, we're working it from zero, right? So we go, but we get into Shark Tank. And it's at a time that is all eco-friendly. Everybody wants eco. And we made a deal with Lori Greiner. Okay.
How much?
And I almost blew it. I'm not going to tell you what's the episode because it's a good episode, right? I wanted to have Kevin also there because I like Kevin. And anyway, so we do that deal. And then,
how much did you get?
Oh, it was like we didn't do it for the money. We did it for the exposure. I'm gonna tell you. I think it was like 200,000, 10%, something like that. Because we didn't do we didn't do the deal just for Bambooee. We did the deal for the whole company.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it had to be something juicy. After all, they are called sharks, right? They do want something for nothing. So, but the weekend that we aired, which was a few months later, because we couldn't talk about it for like 2 months, right? We couldn't tell anybody because it was shh. And when it aired that weekend, we sold like $300,000. It was like,
were you ready? You had the infrastructure to
yeah, we had product. Had make sure people say that websites come down, so we made sure everything was great. And the website, they don't come down, although there was a problem. We did not look at the email server, which only allows you for like 100 emails a day. So people were not getting their confirmation of the order. So a lot of people were doing another order. So we had to, for the next 60 days, figure out the double orders that people have done. So it was a nightmare. Yes, it was a nightmare, but we still, so it looked like we did a lot more. I didn't say that bigger number, but 300,000 in just a weekend in the website was something unheard of.
That's crazy.
Right?
In sales.
Yes. And it allowed us to get into QVC, which the buyers had said before, you know what? This product is not for our customer base. Our customer base is 35 to 65-year-old woman. They like to buy jewelry, things just for themselves. They just don't want an eco product. What a lie. We sold like $180,000 in 8 minutes when we went on air with Lori. And that was the beginning of another big boom for us, right? Because we went from chamois. We were worried about the chamois. Eventually, this company that was buying them copied us, right? And sold them, and there's nothing we could do because they are the ones that sell them at the end. And then we were in an I call it like riding a wave, like a surfer. You're riding the wave right here. You're riding the wave, and before it falls, you jump into another wave, right? That's important to keep up on the top on the air there, and the dangerous area really high because it's dangerous because if you fall, the fall is bad. Right, it's worse than if you weren't successful. So we will write this thing with Bambooee, and we do other products. We did a pillow out of bamboo material, which sold millions of dollars. It was amazing. It did great. And then what happened? We started getting copycatted, right? We started getting copycatted, and we couldn't defend this. Amazon and will tell people, these guys are selling really well. Why don't you sell the same product? They say emails like that. Believe it or not, that's what they do. And so I said, you know what? We need one of the products that we had. I had a product, another product. I don't. It sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm not. There's a lot of time period that has passed, right? There's a telephone wire. The telephone. The hair tie that looks like a telephone wire.
Yeah.
I am the inventor.
No, stop it.
I have 5 patents, right? So I said, okay, and my wife wanted to release it right away. I said, no, we need a patent. We need to do the patent because this is going to be, everybody uses hair ties. It's going to be big and we need to protect ourselves. So we waited 3 years. We went through the whole process of patents, everything about patents. And then the next thing I know, a huge corporation, 2.4 billion, they sue us to invalidate our patent. They were selling our product in their stores. I cannot tell you what store it was, but it starts with a C and it ends with an S. And it's for girls, right? And they basically sued us to invalidate our patents because they have to pay 30% of the profits if they use a patent that it doesn't belong to them, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, we negotiated. They have bigger, they have more money, more time to like destroy you, and that devastated me because I waited 3 years to make a product to protect yourself against the copycats, and I said patents is the solution. And it wasn't. It's basically the beginning of a gladiator fight, right? And whoever has the biggest coffers wins. So when that happened, that depressed me a little bit. Few months, I did not watch a lot of TV, but I was a little depressed. And then I decided I was going to make a product that was uncopyable. And that was the beginning of Komposite. Because I wanted, you spend all these years creating something. You put all your life force into something. You make it marketable. You make it sellable. You sell it through the vias of the different stores. And when it starts doing well, or it does very well, they basically take it over. And right? So how is that good for an entrepreneur? And it's really not very smart of stores to do that because the entrepreneurs are the ones that are creating the products. You just copy them, right? Norwich, an entrepreneur. It's really bad. So I realized that intellectual property is different from patents. Patents also, but it's a different point. One has to do with utility or design that has to do with patents, and intellectual property has to do with artistic creation. Example, a book is intellectual property.
Right.
A drawing is intellectual property.
Right.
Like behind here, I have some paintings, right? Intellectual property. You can buy that, but you cannot copy it and sell it.
Right.
And I did research and I found out that intellectual property, although it's not patentable and it's a much easier process, it has more protection than patents because patents, you can invalidate them. You can say that's not true, or there's something else that existed very similar, right? So that's where I went and I created this product that was called Ooonimals. It came from the hair ties that are round, and I created characters that were all like little fat, and they were different characters, right? I didn't draw them. I had an artist make them for us. Actually, Irene, my wife, was the design chief of all that. She's the design chief of all the things that we do. And we created about 120 something different characters. We created different 5 scenes of each because you see, Disney has made all the legal framework to protect intellectual property all over, right? Nobody can copy intellectual property. A store will never do a bag with a Disney character. They will never think of it. Although they will copy my Bambooee, no problem. Right. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
So here, for example, I have some of the these are insects. I don't know if you can see them. This is part of the security labeling that I have. So I created different characters, and then I decided to make them into collectibles. And then not only did I did the protection intellectually, I said, you know what? I'm going to marry them to blockchain, and you're going to see why now.
Okay.
So I took intellectual property characters, which I will make into, let's say, a pin or a charm. In this case, we're going to be making a high-end bag. I made a deal with a Louis Vuitton factory that makes the material in Italy.
Okay.
And I'm going to they can print digitally, right? Imagine. Right. And we're going to make backpacks for kids. Each is going to be different. It's going to be unique, right? We're going to do small couture, high-end stuff. Right. And the idea is to create high-end value on the brand and then allow people and then we're going to do different collectibles. I made a machine, right? Now, this thing here is part of the security aspect of this, and it will come in a second. So by creating intellectual property married to blockchain, now, what happens then is that blockchain, and I'll explain what's blockchain and you'll see why it's so smart, will actually allow for each particular thing to be owned by an individual, right, and have a record that individual is the owner of that particular thing. Does that make sense? Sort of like title of property when you buy a house, or like when you buy a car, the pink slip, right? Now, this was designed only for kids. I was thinking like Steve Jobs, where he gave a phone that nobody really had thought of or wanted, and he gave more that people expected or what they were expected to do, because if you give more value for money, people, you heighten their experience and you become the leader on that field. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this brings me to my blockchain composite and to what blockchain is. So this is the second part of your podcast, where we're going to talk about, we talked a little bit about me and my experience and what brought me to blockchain, which was basically, I had all these people, I'm putting like that because
Copying you,
suing me to invalidate patents, and basically, and I didn't tell you also that the stores that used to buy from me copied me, and the factories that used to make from me used to sell a bootleg or copy and sell to my competitors. My thing that I created, and it's just a disgusting industry. As a matter of fact,
I used to live in China, so I know exactly how this rolls.
Oh, ni hao ma. Yeah. How many years were you in China?
I was there 3.5 years.
Holy, that's my dream. That was my dream. I'm a little too old now because I have a path, but I wanted to send my brother, but the pandemic happened.
You start your new company, Komposite.
Well, I didn't start it just like, okay, I'm going to start a company. It all started with an idea. My thing is that the counterfeit industry is a 1.7 to 4.5 trillion dollar industry a year. It is the biggest way to make money that exists worldwide, right?
Okay.
And China is a big culprit. Okay. I like the Chinese. I like what they do, but one of the things that happens is that they have no regard. I said, enough, no more. That's it. I want to make a product that is uncopyable. So blockchain. Let's go to blockchain. What is blockchain?